Hi Chris here with the Teclast X98 Plus. So this is a look here now at the system menu. You can see it's running a Windows 10 Home, and it does have that 4 gigabytes of RAM right there. So I'm capturing the screen with a capture card. This should not actually be affecting the performance at all of the tablet, but to give you an idea of just how it runs, you can see shortly just how fast the animations are, and it's fully activated too, so no problems. Connected up to the internet, activation is okay. You see here when I click on Chrome how that lags a little bit. It's a little slow, that animation to load up, so it is struggling a little bit when it comes to things like that. I just noticed moving around the tablet, it's definitely a lot slower than the Teclast X98 Pro. I'm just doing multitasking here at the moment. I am doing quite a few things at the same time. I'm downloading a game in Steam. I'm just installing Counter-Strike Global Offensive, so that's downloading in the background, and at the same time downloading also Asphalt 8 just to get an idea of just how it runs. But if you have a look, if I try and just do a couple of animations here, you see that that loads in a little slow. And it's to be expected. I never expected this tablet to be a monster when it comes to performance. Well, or at least perform as fast as X98 Pro, because that has a faster chipset in it. That's got the X5 Z8500. It clocks up to 2.24 gigahertz, and this only clocks up to 1.84. And 400 megahertz might not seem a lot, but on the atoms, it actually is quite a lot. And the GPU also runs, the Generation 8 GPU runs 100 megahertz lower, so that's going to affect the scores definitely when it comes to benchmarks. So this is CloudGate 1.1, iStorm 1.2 score. Came out a little slower than expected. Now, seeing this chipset running on the Onda V820W CH, the same Atom X5Z8300. I've seen it run a little bit faster than this, so the score there is a little disappointing. I'm not too sure whether Teclast have done something to the actual clock speeds, but you see me there now scrolling down in Chrome. Just using my finger now, touching the screen. You can see that that is not that fast. It's a little bit slow there, and that's probably down to Chrome, but it's a little slow there. And this is the 3D Mark 11 score. Quite a high, well, not a high score actually for what it is. It's a little bit higher than the likes of the X98 3G, but not by much. Here is our Geekbench score. This pretty much puts it on par with the Atom Baytrail Z37 35F. So very similar scores there. And again, that's a lot lower than the X98 Pro score. You see lagging? It's just lagging there a little bit, the animation. Just scrolling is just not that smooth, but that, as I mentioned, could be down to Chrome. Now if I launch here Edge and just use the on-screen keyboard and go to the Tech Tablets website. Even here it's a little laggy. You can see that me holding down the backspace there. It took a little while. So now Edge here, things are a little bit better. You can see now that the scrolling loads up a little faster. It seems smoother. It's probably down to Chrome just being a little too heavy for this Atom CPU. Now battery life seems really good. Battery Bar Pro is not picking up the capacity of the battery there correctly, but you can see the elapsed time, 1 hour and 20 minutes since 99%. I'm now on 84%. That's quite good. So we're looking around 6 or 7 hours, I think, battery life in total that's going to be able to get out of this tablet, which I think is good. That's kind of levels there of what you'd expect on the X98 Air. So not too bad at all there. And that is loading in the page. Okay. Again, that animation even then has a little bit of stutter. So the device manager, I'll just quickly show you what we have when it comes to that. So we have the disk drive. That's a Toshiba 060G70. It's actually not bad at all. I'll show you the speeds. Crystal Disc Mark V score here. So it gets a write of 91, which is really good. And you consider that my Surface 3, that got about 60, so these scores are quite good. What I am impressed with is definitely the 4K random write rate there of 26. Not bad at all. And 16. So those figures there are quite good. At least for a eMMC 4.51 spec. And the micro SD card, again, as we've seen on the Cherry Trails, that it does support now the high-speed cards, which is good. We're not capped to 23 megabytes per second, so you can get read rates there reasonably high, and those 4Ks for an SD micro SD card aren't bad at all. This one is Asphalt 8 Airborne from the Windows Store, and you can see that it's running rather slow. Now this is being displayed on the tablet screen at the full resolution. So to make this playable, probably it would be best for me to actually reduce my desktop resolution down to something like 1024 by 768 and then boot up the game, and then it should have playable frame rates there. So what I did is restart Asphalt 8 Airborne, but what I did is to drop down the resolution on the desktop to 1024 by 768, and now the frame rate has increased significantly, but it's still not really as smooth as I'd like it to be. Ideally it'd like 60 frames per second. It seems to be running somewhere around, I'd say about 25, 30 over maybe in some parts, but you can see it's still a little bit choppy. And I crashed again. At least it has improved things. So the question is, did it throttle or not? Good news is it didn't. You can see the maximum temperatures right here. That's 69 degrees Celsius and no throttling whatsoever. Those temperatures are perfectly fine for this kind of tablet. This is a fanless Atom chipset, and there is no problem with it getting up to 69s, early 70s is fine there. What was happening on the X98 Pro and the other Cherry Trail that I looked at, the Onda V820WCH, they got up to 85, 86 degrees, and they did trigger thermal throttling, affecting your performance. Now, I do have a feeling here that Teclast has done something to maybe tweak down the turbos on the CPU, or perhaps even lower the GPU. Although the clock speeds, if you have a look, saying they do tell me that the GPU did actually get up to 500 megahertz, which is the pretty much the top speed that it can do anyway on the Atom X5Z8300. So all in all, pretty good there. The temperatures are good. It's good to see that Teclast have got that under control there. Really, I'm happy with those results there. So that's a very quick look there, just at a little bit of the system and the temperatures and some gaming there. I'll have a lot more up and coming with this tablet when I do the full review. There will be a lot more gaming tests as well, so I'll go over the likes of Counter-Strike Global Offensive. You can see here that I've got the icon sitting there, but I'm not actually going to show it in this video. That'll be in some other videos up and coming. I just need a little more time to get together a few more games to test out and see the performance of how things run on the tablet. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll hopefully catch you in those other videos.